The U.S. Senate has voted overnight to fund the Department of Homeland Security, putting Congress on track to end the weeks-long partial government shutdown. People calling it a breakthrough on Capitol Hill as airports across the country, long lines and staffing shortages putting pressure on travelers and workers alike. The bill does not include additional money for immigration enforcement. The vote comes hours after President Trump said that he was directing his new Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, to pay the thousands of TSA workers who've gone over a month without a paycheck.
Democrats held firm in our opposition that Donald Trump's rogue and deadly militia should not get more funding without serious reforms.
Nearly half of this fiscal year so far, the government's been shut down in whole or in part by Senate Democrats.
Well, the partial government shutdown continues, and so are the talks to end the stalemate. But for now, the impact continues, especially with air travel. Joining us now is Dr. Todd Belt, political science professor at George Washington University, and also the director of the political management program. Dr. Belt, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thanks for having me on, Mark. It's great to be with you again.
You know, we're always glad to have you. As of the date of this recording, we know that the Senate has passed a funding plan for DHS, not including ICE. And of course, that's going to go to the House then for approval. Why do you think the Senate took this action? Because the president was considering signing an emergency effort. But why do you think that the Senate made progress?
That's right. I think that Donald Trump's attempt to sign an emergency declaration on Thursday night, or at least saying he was going to do so, kind of forced their hand, and this is why. The Senate doesn't like it when the president reprograms money. He was going to take some money that had been put together for some border security and move it over to TSA. And he was working with Susan Collins of Maine to try to find us a pot of money to be able to do this. And the emergency declaration gives him the power to do that. Senators don't like that. They like money that they appropriate to be spent on what they say it should be spent on. And so that sort of forced their hand a little bit. But we're not getting, of course, the funding for ICE. ICE is funded pretty well from the big, beautiful bill. They got tons of money in that, so they're not in any dire straits. But this has been kicked down the road for subsequent funding, where the Democrats and Republicans will have to work out their concerns about what ICE can and cannot do, the issues with the body cameras, the masks, the judicial warrants, and such. So the Democrats didn't get what they wanted on ICE, and the Republicans didn't get the SAVE Act, which was supposed to be attached to this as well. So both are going away without exactly what they wanted, and this is going to allow, if this goes through the House, this is going to allow the members to go on their spring recess and to not have to wait in line with angry constituents who are probably want to give them an earful.
How did we get to this point?
Well, this obviously goes back to the issues in Minneapolis with the two killings that happened. Prior to that, with what had happened in Los Angeles and some of the other cities, there was a group of Democrats who really were saying, abolish ICE. We don't want ICE anymore. And then there were some more moderate Democrats who were saying, well, if there's a new way, we'll be the first in line, but we've got to make it work this time with new ways of de-escalation, with body cameras and masks and other aspects of changing the way that they go through their procedure in order to make it safer. And so that actually, when we had Minneapolis, both of those sides came together and said, we have to make these changes now. We have to shut down the government over it, or at least shut down this one department, which is DHS. And so even though ICE had money to continue, this is the leverage they had, which was this one bill, which got separated out from all the other bills that were passed earlier this year. So this is the one bill that needed to be passed. The Democrats saw that they had some leverage on this, and they have been working towards a number of different types of compromises over the past 40 days. But as these lines got longer and longer, and you see that these TSA agents have missed 3 paychecks, a lot of them aren't showing up for work, up to 40% of them in some of the places. And there's been an outcry from the constituents of the members of Congress to get something done, and they would have had to face them in those lines at the airports when they went home for recess. So I think that really forced their hand as well.
Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so very much for joining us.